That reminded me of COVID-19. So many individuals fear what could happen to them. I don't fear it, due to my experience of passing away for 20 minutes and seeing things most people don't see. When I was 28, it woke me up and helped me find my values, where I am with my family, and where I am with my Father in heaven. In Park City, I was skiing and having fun. The rest of the day, I skied. After we went through, I took my glove off and got out of the car, and my thumb fell straight down, knocking it out of the socket. Something had to be done. It stung when I climbed inside that warm car. I needed to act. Surgery was scheduled and prepared. I remember sitting in the operating room when the doctor covered my right hand with a sheet and tore my thumb. The nurse told the doctor she'd never done a tourniquet and didn't know how to change the valves. The doctor promised to guide her. You place a tourniquet on here and have 2 valves to tighten and release the pressure. Both valves were tightened, but the nurse undid one, restoring pressure. She forgot to close the first valve and opened the second. I felt something travel up my arm suddenly. It entered my heart, and I was above my body watching the surgery. It was special because I wasn't alone. I had a companion watching. I studied every stitch in my thumb, whether this is natural. I saw the nurse run out of the room screaming that I killed him, which must have scared her that her plan failed. I sat next to the person next to me as if I knew them, even though I never saw them. Everything was thought-based. Nothing was said. I could hear what the doctor was doing, but not what the person next to me was saying. Since there was no clock on the wall or watch on, we watched the process for an unknown amount of time. The doctor was serious about performing my thumb surgery, and I watched him cut me and break a tendon. I watched him put me back together after he wrapped it around my thumb. I remember sitting above when we were there. As you lay down with your arm like this and the sheet precisely here, I saw the surgery from above. I recall hearing, "Okay, it's time to go," and being unable to look back. It was told to never look back, and then I looked left and saw some huge trees. They were the oddest trees, with long trunks and leaves on top, and there were many. To the right of that, continuing to my left, were magnificent wildflowers up to my waist. Because I like gardening and yard maintenance, I remember noticing how gorgeous the flowers were. I recall the stunning hues. The tall grass in front of and to the right was probably waist-high. Was just standing. Next thing I knew, my guide was gone, and I was alone. But it was calm. Everything was how I remembered it. I could see far left and right. I wasn't allowed to glance back, but a cloud appeared in front of me. Just a white cloud. All of a sudden, in my head, I started viewing a video of my life from birth to 28 years old. Everything I did, good or terrible, didn't matter because that's what I was judged on. While some hurt, some made me feel amazing. It was what it was. There was no one to disagree or say, I didn't do that, or I did. But I wasn't on track with my life in many ways at that time. I worked for the government and the postal service, and my goal was to advance and make money. I worked in Jackpot, Nevada, in the middle of nowhere, knowing that all I did was for myself and not my family. Some of what I witnessed was nice, some was horrible, but I knew I had to improve my life. After it was over, I felt so calm. No false, you didn't do this, or I didn't do that, was all about me. It was vivid because I remembered it. I didn't talk. I didn't bargain. I visualized everything in my head. After finishing, I said, "It's over." I realized I was dead and moving on. The person in my thoughts told me to get up and work forward. I approached this white cloud, and an arm came through, only this much. I never forget. An agricultural worker with powerful arms and hands. I recall his strong, meteor hands reaching out like this, and I reached for it. He responded, "Your time is not yet. You have more work." The mist in front of me obscured his arm as he brought it back through. Then I returned to my body. My doctor stated I was fighting a war inside. Due of its serenity, I didn't want to return to combat. I recall him asking, "What happened? Why were you scattered across that table?" I told him I wouldn't return. Too gorgeous where I was. It turned out I had a 20-minute death certificate on my chest. My departure was the most tranquil I could have imagined. Connie was in the hallway when they wheeled me out. She was unaware of my past. I've never felt so peaceful in my life for 3 days. The calm I enjoyed in that hospital bed for 3 days was incredible. It's weird, but the doctor kept checking on me and was quite friendly. I kept this private and precious because it meant so much to me. It transformed my life and outlook. It alters my view of my wife, our relationship, and our unity. We attempt to be one instead of one-on-one. At least I try. I'm not perfect. I'm still learning. Since 28, my life has changed drastically. It's drawn me closer to God. I know God exists without a doubt. Because I believe death will be pleasant, I'm not terrified. My thumb works well today. My bionic thumb. I love my family and wife.